Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, this is Jeremy Smith. Sorry, guys. I know that this video is not ideal. It's not supposed to be. I just wanted to give you guys a very, very good idea of kind of how the Fuji X-T2 looks and how it feels. I just got my hands on this today. I've been hanging out here at Bedford Camera and Video's Photo Expo. Met a lot of exciting folks. Got my good buddy Carl Roberts of Good Times Photography with me. Although I'm pretty sure he's going to be changing the name pretty soon. But anyways, so Fuji X-T2. As you guys know, we just recently looked at the X-T1. X-T1 is phenomenal. As you guys know, I'll say this for like the 50th time, but I am primarily a still photographer. So a lot of the latest Sony offerings I wasn't all about because of the ergonomics. Now, this camera for photographers that want to primarily do stills, I think it's absolutely phenomenal. Just like on Fuji's other cameras, like the X-T1 that we just looked at, you guys will notice that we have lots and lots of old school style dials. I mean, we have dials for things like our exposure compensation, for our shutter speed. We have even a dial over here for our ISO. Now, one thing that's a little different on this camera is that Fuji has taken a page from a lot of other camera manufacturers' book, and now they give us the ability to lock these dials. So you guys will notice that there's actually a little lock here. One thing that they did do that's unique about this, though, is that a lot of people have actually said that they don't like these new locks that a lot of manufacturers are putting on their cameras. So on this Fuji, instead of pressing and holding the button and rotating the dial and then having it go back to locked, this camera actually has a little push off, push on sort of setup. So it's pretty cool because, you know, you press it once, you can unlock it. Actually, it's locked. Hold on. Press it once, unlock it, and then you can turn the dial, and it just works. So you can leave it unlocked if you want to, but if you want to lock it in place, then all you have to do is just press it again, and now it's locked. One other thing that I noticed on this camera, in addition to the locking mode dials, is this new little joystick-style controller that's on the back. So you can use this to change your focus points and things like that. That's definitely something that I am looking forward to trying out. I mean, yeah, the ergonomics on this camera, I feel like are very, very close to being perfect. It's amazing what you can do here. So you can see how we have our focus point adjustment right back there. Of course, I haven't had a chance to try this out very much. Its battery is even low because everyone's been trying it out. But whenever we have a chance to do a more detailed video, obviously I will be doing that, and we will have a lot more information to go into. Whenever Fuji came out with their X Pro 2, they increased the resolution to 24 megapixels with their new sensor. And the X-T1, you know, I mean, X Pro 2 rather, it's a nice camera too, but some people, you know, don't like the rangefinder style. Personally, I'm one of those people. I don't know, with my glasses and everything, and just based on what I'm used to, I actually like the more SLR style of this camera. So it is nice to have this new 24 megapixel sensor in this camera. So very, very nice there. We also see a lot of other things on this camera. We see now the ability to... This is what happens when you start playing with an unfamiliar camera. There we go. It has a little lock on the side there. Let's bump up the exposure. There we go. So right here on the side, you'll notice that we now have 2 card slots. And one thing that's interesting on this camera, to my knowledge, both of the slots are actually compatible with those new ultra-fast UHS 2 memory cards. I believe, I can't remember right now, but I believe on the X Pro 1, only one of those slots is UHS 2 compatible. So it's nice to have the ability to do very high-speed data transfer on both slots, so pretty sweet. And that does go hand in hand with the new 4K video, which is pretty sweet as well. Now, Fuji, they've basically told me that they're not really looking to be like Sony. Because of the market, it is nice that we do have 4K video on this camera. So, you know, for a lot of photographers now that want to do a little bit of both, it's good. But Fuji, they're not setting out to be like Sony and be like this video-centric company. And once again, if you're a still photographer, this could be a good thing for you. Now, I will say, you know, if you're really hardcore about video, more than likely, you're going to be much better off with Sony. Sony, they've had lots of cameras that are very good for video. A7S2, A6300, A7R2, and on the list goes. And this is like Fuji's first camera that's very serious about video. So I'm pretty sure they're not going to be dethroning Sony anytime soon in that area. But it is nice that technology is moving on. This camera can do 4K video, up to 30 frames a second. And we also have the ability to do 1080 as well at some newer high frame rates. I believe this does up to 60 frames per second in 1080, so very nice there as well. And of course, as you can see, USB 3 here, and we do have a microphone jack. Now, the camera itself does not have a headphone jack, but there is a power grip that gives you that option. I noticed too that the ergonomics on this camera are improved over its predecessor. I do know that they're improved over the predecessor. You can see how now there's actually a little bit deeper grip there for your thumb. And so in feel, that was actually the first thing I noticed about this camera over the X Pro 1. It's just that it feels a lot better in hand. One other thing that's been improved on this camera is its ISO range. Instead of it going from 200 to 6400 ISO, like on the X-T1, this camera actually goes from 200 to ISO 12800. It would have been nice to see a 100 ISO here, but certainly very good. The biggest news on this camera for a lot of people, though, is going to be how it handles action photography. Now, as you guys know, I have to say this just about in every video, but anyways, as you guys know, I am not an action photographer. However, I am glad that this camera does have a lot of action capability. It's definitely a lot more akin to the Sony a6300 now. So you can see, whenever we don't have it set to a half-second exposure time, that this camera actually is extremely fast. It can do up to 11 frames a second whenever we have the power grip attached, and I believe it does like 6 without it, so it's very fast. So if you do shoot action, this could be a very valuable option. One other thing too, I don't have the battery grip to show you guys. That battery grip does give you a headphone jack, and it also is what facilitates the 4K video. So to shoot 4K, you have to have that. It also holds 2 batteries, which is pretty cool. On the X-T1, you had 1 battery in the grip and 1 battery in the camera, kind of like how it's set up on Nikon cameras. But on this camera, you actually can have 2 batteries in the grip and 1 battery in the camera, giving you a total of 3 batteries, which is pretty sweet. So if you intend to shoot some video with this, or if you just want battery life that's more like what you'd get out of a higher-end DSLR, that's a very nice solution. I also understand that the newer version of this battery actually is slightly higher capacity than the one that's found in the Fuji X-T1, so pretty cool there. I think I did a pretty good job of hitting the high points. If there's anything that you guys kind of want to see in more detail, let me know and just write me in the comments below. And of course, we will be taking a much more detailed look at this camera. But you know, what can I say, guys? Whenever a new camera comes out, I'm pretty anxious. If I can get my hands on it pretty straight away, I like to go ahead and give you guys at least a little taste of what it can do. Anyways, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on all popular social media. I am known as Photog J the Great on all popular social media. Until next time, guys, this is Jeremy Smith, signing off.